frequency, NetFreq. We got a lot to cover. We got a lot of panels. But to first introduce the Marketing MadMen, so we're live right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, a couple places. The show airs on because when I started, my only goal was to do 100 episodes. And it's funny in life, when you only plan on just doing something sometimes to try to be good at it, what you actually learn along the way. So the show covers everything from the different types of advertising, sports figures, restaurant reviews, the stuff that I find fun. And what I'm kind of realize is that like marketing is everything. Everybody in life is selling or marketing something, and if you don't think you are, you're being sold or marketed to. Because that's just how the world works. So it's given a platform to just talk through things, and honestly, the amount of different guests we've had, and the craziest thing is the people who I think that like, I'm like, Google's not going to like that guy. This isn't going to do well. And I'll have an NFL receiver, and it's like, boo, no one cares about you. And then I'll have a chef who's going to try to open his own restaurant, talk about nightshade fruit, and Google's like, that's what we want to hear about. I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So it's just been a crazy journey. I'm currently the CMO of Solomon Brothers Jewelers, but also a partner of Network Frequency. We're really excited to be able to do this. And that being said, we're going late, so screw it. I'm just going to get started. Can we get the theme song going?
Marketing is a madman's game. So now we turn it over to the Marketing MadMen
How fast, like Moore's Law used to be technology doubled every year. The pace has exploded. With AI, the amount of money being invested, I mean, I heard that Meta put $65 billion into something that they don't think is ready to go to market. Guys, $65 billion. Do you know how many countries in the world don't GDP $65 billion? And that's what Meta put into a technology that they just deemed that can't go out to the public. That is just insane what is going on. So we're going to cover AEO versus SEO. We're going to cover how AI has made its way into content creation. And we're going to talk about how where we used to search on Google, now kids are searching on TikTok, and that is just part of how we look for things. So let's get started. So we're going to introduce the panel. So first, we got Nick Alifi, is the CEO, the COO of NetFreq. Nick, how you doing, bud? Good, I'm good. And he did it with an Italian accent on purpose that time. He didn't do that last time. I said Alifi and he had to do the Italian accent. So we got Joe Artime, who is, for better saying, head of marketing for Moe's, CMO of Moe's. He's the head of marketing for Moe's, which everyone knows. Joe, tell everybody what Moe's stands for. Actually, does anyone out there know what Moe's stands for? Go. Go, hit him.
Musicians, outlaws, and entertainers. There's nobody named Mo.
Isn't that pretty badass? So if you go into the store, I remember all the ones that were like pepper versions of Jimi Hendrix. So Joe, we're going to talk about it to get that back because a lot of people don't know that. Something we got to work on. And then DJ, head over here at NetFreq, executive producer, guy running the show. DJ, how you doing, bud?
Man, making it happen. Out of the hospital and full speed ahead.
Yeah, I heard there was a Mexican River accident.
Dude, I made it. I fell off the dock in front of clients and came out smiling with the camera saved. So.
That's usually someone's excuse for getting VD in Mexico.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask each of you a question. We're going to get started with questions. So first off, there's two parts of this that I think will lead this conversation. So the first question is, what scares you the most about the current state of marketing? And then the second one is what are you most exciting about for the future of marketing? And the reason is you can't talk about the future without knowing about the present. So I'm going to sit my ass down, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to ask each of you, and we'll start again with what currently is the problem. So Joe, I'm going to start with you, buddy. And what scares you most about the state of marketing?
Yeah, so one of the things that I look at is we've got access to more data than ever before, which is a great thing. The thing that I think scares me the most is not utilizing that data properly. And I see both marketers as well as agencies do this all the time. And one of the things I think they do is they're always constantly looking at attribution, trying to tie a sale to some data that they've got access to versus looking at the incrementality. Are we actually driving new guests into our business, or are we just trying to find a sale that we've already made and then tie that to media that we ran in order to prove that we are doing the right thing?
Based on the data to which they control.
Exactly.
So they're using their own data to tell you a story that which they want to tell you.
Exactly. So we're going to talk a lot about storytelling, I'm sure here.
Yeah.
This is one way that agencies and marketers can kind of craft their own story, and sometimes that isn't at the best result of the business.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So because now we're going to go in order, I'm going to say that my answer to that is simply there, and it fits with what you're talking about. there's lots of thinkers, there's lots of people that want to analyze, there's lots of people that want to storyboard, but there's not lots of doers. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty and go in and actually do it, which is what marketing started, right? You remember the yellow pages? It was the guy selling you, and then they're like, wait a second, if my business starts with an A, I'll be first in the yellow pages. And they're like, wait a second, I could start with a 0. And they would always just adjust their companies to be in the yellow pages, like hands-on strategic. So we need less consultants. I'll leave it at that. DJ, how about you, buddy? So what scares you the most about the state of marketing?
So I think ultimately is we're talking about a lot of the AI and what's going on and people utilizing these tools right now. With those tools, a lot of the times the important thing that goes in, your inputs. And so what I think brands, and I see a lot of folks doing input-wise, is they're inputting what everybody else is doing. They're using cell phones, they're using everyday technology to try to make it feel like, oh, we're a part of the crowd, we're a part of the audience that's, everyday people doing marketing, and we're just one of you. They're
doing it because they feel like they have to, not because there's intention and deliberateness as to what they're doing.
Correct. And so I think input is one of the main things that scares me, is that people are continuously inputting lower quality of content, shorter amount of thought, shorter amount of content quality and stuff, and those inputs are really what scares me right now, because the output is going to be continuously degraded as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, and I tell people all the time, and there are some people out there that have not jumped on the AI bandwagon, and all I say is, that's the output.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What inputs you give it are what make it unique, and if you're too worried about the outputs, you will fail at using it.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's a really important part of this. Nick, how about you, buddy?
It's multifold. Number one, from an operations perspective, with AI, becoming what it is, you're seeing a knock-on effect down the creative chain, where you have people who are using generative AI and they're using, they're using fewer creatives. That means that you have creatives who were established in the industry who are now being pushed out.
For sure.
Which means that the talent level is not able to be maintained.
And those are people that were making things from scratch. So let's talk about the important part, right? So not the people who can write a prompt and have it do something. Those are the people that were being creative, were trained to be creative. The artists, the writers, the copywriters, the people that built this entire thing are being pushed out. Yeah.
That was called square jobs, right? So you don't have those people now who say, hey, look, the best way to light a car is when outdoor shoes, when the sun's at 10 degrees above horizon. Those people are gone.
Math.
Yeah.
10 degrees above, you have to have an eye for it, but like math, like there's a reason.
Yeah, so those people are getting out. And also, there's also not just fear, but the fear itself of creativity. The fact that people are less likely to go on a limb because they're afraid that they're not going to meet their metrics on how much content they produce. They're afraid that they're going to be mocked in the comments section. So instead, if I feed a prompt, now the AI creates it. The AI did this, not me.
Yeah.
And so, like to your point,
I love it.
Losing the doers because of they're being pushed out economically and also from a fear perspective as well.
Yeah, well, accountability is a bitch, man. Right? If you're going to take on it, and it's amazing, I love it. I'm going to go back to Spider-Man, but like with great power comes great responsibility. Everybody wants the power. Nobody wants that responsibility, which is just dirty business. I mean, like you don't get paid the big bucks to sit there and be powerful. You get paid to be responsible. So, all right, I think that's a great set. That's a setup. And you know what? Let's just keep going back the other way, because I think the other side, that was a little bit down in the dumps. Let's talk about what we're excited about. So, what are you most excited about for the future of marketing?
The democratization of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal some thunder here. You mentioned it earlier before the show. The democratization of it.
What do you mean I said it? I literally said those exact words. You stole my exact line verbatim. I got to fucking think of something new now.
Thunder gone.
Beauty of AI.
I guess so.
Look, the democratization is.
I got to throw that card out.
What we have is the ability for anybody now to get involved, which means if we have somebody, they're no longer limited by having to go and spend $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 as people used to have to do for a 4K camera, or to go and invest in a $300
Lavalier mics, studios, everything is crazy.
Nowadays, we can get somebody who's young, creative, energetic, and give them at least using AI as a springboard to something bigger and better. And to me, that is extraordinarily exciting as a kid from Paulding County, Georgia, who bounced around a lot, saw the bright lights of New York when my dad lived in New Jersey, coming back down here to see the pine trees of Paulding. Now, you have somebody who's maybe in Iowa, who's in Des Moines, wherever. They're getting on AI, and now they're creating something completely out of nowhere, and now we can identify those people faster than ever because the talent's that evident.
If you know where to look.
If you know where to look.
And that's a great point, and I love that. And it's okay that you stole it, because you said New York, which I'm from, and I'm also half Italian, so I'm going to give you that one. DJ, how about you, bud?
Man, excitement. I think what's exciting for me is the brand activation and partnership side. I think as people continue to really want to get back into the world and back into, you know, actual physical marketing and everything, we were shut down for so long, and now we're, you know, especially here in Atlanta, we have these major events coming in and everything. So I think the opportunity overall is what's most exciting, because there's tons of good business out there, tons of good opportunity to get your story and your message out there in really good organic ways. And so I think that's what I'm most excited for. I mean, I have a list of opportunities that I see, and also partnerships that have just been like really thrilling for me, just to be like, oh, you guys are doing this, that's so cool. And so I think the opportunity is what excites me the most, because even though, yeah, we did kind of start off down in the dumps a little bit, ultimately I think that, you know, being patient and positioning yourself, utilizing these tools to you know, take forward those opportunities is what's really the most exciting for me.
Yeah, I love it. So my quick pivot, thanks again, is I think that the best thing out of this is, like, I'm going to tell you firsthand, as someone who went from being in the marketing side and selling it to someone who's now doing the marketing, is it's really broken out there. The lines of communication are broken, the connection, what people expect out of it, what they're expecting from it. But at the same time, whenever it really hits the fan, we have a great way of coming out of it stronger, and we will open up a whole new level of people who are those creatives that are gonna find their way back into it, right? This is how I liken it to it. It's like music, right? Everything's a freaking festival now. There's gotta be 500,000 people. They don't make music by putting people with the guitars and playing. They put anodes on your freaking brain and find out what BPM catches your brain. Like, you know what I want? Freaking 4 people on stage with acoustic guitars. You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna go back that way. That's the one thing about life. We always balance out and go back to the middle. So I do believe the pendulum will swing back, and you will find that avenue for creators. So like DJ said, you gotta push through and wait, but like, it's coming, man. I think people, young people especially, they see the BS. They don't wanna see it anymore. And the people that lean into authenticity and fun and like, yo, no one's curing diseases here, man. Like, this is, let's have some fun with it. And holy shit, the world needs some fun, man. People are uptight and like not going out. I don't understand. So, well, I'm supposed to be positive. So I'm excited about the opportunity that comes from those punks not knowing what they're doing. Joe.
Yeah, no, I think you're starting to see storytelling return to creative.
Yep.
And we talk about this, like if you were doing search, call it 3-4 years ago, and you've got X amount of your budget on search, for instance, you're really just putting in keywords, maybe a couple of product pictures here and there. Now you're able to, because of, you know, how people are actually accessing search now, or going on different type of platforms to search for things, you actually get to create content that tells the brand story, either in maybe it doesn't have to be a 30-second spot, it doesn't have to be a minute spot, but it can be a 6-second spot, and you can do it for cheap, as Nick was saying. We have dozens of Nicks here today.
Yeah. Well, this Nick said it first. He just stole it. But again, I don't want to keep beating that dead horse.
Great chef
all
steal,
love
guys.
with the
Great
mix.
chef steal.
So you're able to tell your story through search, which was you know, is a big part of everyone's budget, but it's kind of always been set aside, and now you're able to put that through your entire media mix. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so I think it brings up a good point. So I'm going to talk now about AEO versus SEO, and I think let's all jump in on this. But I think the one thing that has really changed is it used to be easy to just throw in like little keywords and hashtags because you presumed what people were searching for, but you were running the dictate. Now you have to meet the consumers and the people where they are and actually give them what they want. And like, I can't tell you how hard and how disconnected that is, right? And it starts really with corporate America, right? Like for the longest time, and Coke's a good local example, Coke fed you the story that corporate tells you to feed. Nowadays, that's not what they want. They want their version of the story. Are you being socially acceptable? Are you take care of the environment? All these different parts. So we kind of have to meet people where they are for the first time. And I think it makes you really think about your brand, your messaging, and where you're going for. And I think it feeds in really well to now we're searching for things differently, right? It's answer engines. We're not talking about